It's vegan recipes with Pat and Emily.
Yesterday we went shopping at East End Food Co-op and we saw some mushrooms that we have not seen before. There's this little clump of mushrooms and they are called Bunapi. I'm not sure, we'll write it on the screen. And then we also, which I've never seen, I've only seen on videos, these trumpet mushrooms. So I'm going to take you along the journey as I cook these, and again, this is one of those videos we haven't practiced and we don't have a recipe. I'm not familiar at all with these mushrooms, so I'm going to try a few things. Of course, I'm going to take off the end pieces. And normally, I would taste these, but Emily told me she has read that any mushroom that's considered a wild mushroom needs cooked completely before eating. So I'm not testing them that way. Now, some people make them into like a fake scallop, so I'm looking for the one that's roundest. They're kind of woody in texture when I'm slicing them. So that'll give me 4 trumpet mushroom scallops, and I'll just cook that up. Other recipes show that you can shred these and make something like a pulled pork or a pulled chicken. And starting to break apart like shreds, but I'm not really seeing it come apart as easily as I thought it would. I am getting the shreds. I'm not sure if you have to break these trumpet mushrooms apart a little bit. Looks like I could pull some pieces off and get shreds. They're definitely not as tender as, say, a portobello. I'll do a little more shredding. So I'm just peeling off some of those shreds. There's the trumpet mushroom shreds. And then for another recipe, I was thinking I would just split them in half like this, and I would season them with steak seasoning and probably hickory smoked salt. And these I wanted to try on polenta, so I will make some polenta. I will keep that plain because I want more of the flavoring in the mushrooms. Now this mushroom I'm going to batter and then just fry. I had seen that done, so I'll see what happens with that as well. I'm just putting on steak seasoning and smoked salt. I'm putting on Old Bay. If I had kelp powder, I would be adding some kelp powder as well, but I don't have that today. And these need used up. That's the Old Bay. Trying to get that steak seasoning into these mushrooms. And I'll put some on this side. I'll probably have to add seasoning as they're cooking. Just mushrooms for barbecue. I'm just putting on the smoked salt, and I will saute that in a skillet very slow, and then I will put on our barbecue sauce. So this is what's going on. Those are the trumpet mushrooms shreds, and I've browned them, and I'm going to put a lid on them. They seem to have an unfamiliar texture right now, so I'm hoping if I put the lid on it will tenderize them a little bit. These were the trumpet mushrooms scallop, and I've cooked them in a lot of vegan butter, and I'm just letting them rest until we're ready to taste these. And last, these are the trumpet mushrooms, and I'm browning them right now. I'm planning to put them in my oven to finish them off because they're not browning on top. Second thought on these trumpet mushrooms, I'm going to turn them and just see if they will finish cooking on the other side without going in the oven. Here I'm sauteing the leftover little pieces of mushroom, and I'm going to put vegan cheese on them and see if I can form that into some type of patty. I scraped it together and I'm now putting a lid on it. I'll let it simmer for a few minutes. I was able to flip the vegan cheese and mushroom patty, so it's browning on the other side. I've seen this done on one of those cooking show contests where they took the entire mushroom. I'm leaving the bottom on because I think it holds it all together. I've cleaned it, so they did. Of course, there was no recipe. They batter dipped the entire thing, and they didn't show it, but I'm guessing they kind of worked batter into it. Okay, so I'm going to let it sit in that bowl a moment till I wash my hands, and then we'll put it in the fryer. Okay, here goes. I'm just gently putting it in the oil. I don't want it to overflow my pot. Merging, Emily. I'm going to have to get it off of there. Maybe up under there if this works. Yeah, good idea. I don't know. I was afraid to just drop it. I'm going to have to take it out of there a minute and get it off. Okay, got it loose. Okay, there it is. So we're doing a taste test on those mushrooms that we were experimenting with. Here is that mushroom and vegan cheese patty. These are like scallops. This is the barbecue with the shredded trumpet mushrooms with steak seasoning and polenta. And this was that glob of mushrooms.
Whoa.
Yes. You want to try first? That's supposed to be like a scallop, but I've never ate scallops, period. So if you seasoned it correctly, would it remind you of the texture of a scallop? Because you've eaten them.
It would remind me of the texture of a scallop. It's close. Did you do kelp powder and stuff on that, or what did you?
All I had was Old Bay.
Oh, it's good. I don't know if I would think it was a scallop. Maybe if it was flavored different, it would be closer.
Maybe. I think it's kind of chewy. Like a scallop, I think, what a scallop is.
And this is like a mushroom patty?
It was just the leftover mushrooms.
From everything.
Held together by cheese. Vegan cheese, of course.
That's delicious.
Easily repeated.
I'd have a very easy time eating that.
I like that a lot. Scallops, not so sure about.
This seems it's going to be the same texture as that scallop one. Yeah. I see how you can make that into a fake fish pretty easy. I'm not sure how. Maybe marinated in kelp granules?
Like when you're making your crabless crab cakes?
Yeah.
I think you could.
Let me do the sandwich here.
This was cooked longer and it's more tender.
I kind of just
than
want to
the
try
scallop.
this by itself. Oh, that looks a lot like pulled pork to me.
Texture's kind of unfamiliar for me.
The texture is not quite what I expected it to be.
But I would be okay eating that as a sandwich, I think.
It reminds me of jackfruit a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Which reminds me of rubber bands.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Apparently I like to eat rubber bands.
This, I don't know.
I don't know what to do with that. How do we go at that?
I'm going to just try to break off a piece. Oh, that looks okay. I'm not going to want to eat that much at one time. I'm dipping in ketchup.
This looks like chicken to me. Weird.
It's more fried. It takes away the flavor, I think. And I think before you serve it, you should cut off that bottom that was holding it together. Because you couldn't get that really, really clean.
It weird reminds me of a funnel cake.
Yeah, it does. And since I like fried food, I could eat it. But that can't be the best use of that mushroom.
No. I like mushrooms of all kinds, pretty much.
Wonder if the fluted top tastes different than the bottom.
It might. No. I feel like I like that shredded up like this more on the sandwich. This might be my favorite. I think I would just want to work on the flavoring on these.
Like all of it's...
I mean, it's been a really long time since I ate a scallop, but that's pretty close.
Is it really?
The texture to me? It's been a really long time though.
If I wanted something fancy, I might do this, but maybe instead of polenta, a pasta? No?
I don't know. I feel like you need something a different color under it to be aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Because it's all the same color. Maybe a mixed wild rice.
Yeah.
Underneath it.
Mixed wild rice. The tomato just tastes like a tomato to me. Did you want to try?
Alright. I've never had one. Not this dark colored.
Yeah, I agree. This over a wild rice.
It does just taste like a tomato, but it tastes like a tomato that I grew in my garden, not one I buy at the grocery store. Sorry, what about the wild rice?
I think these mushrooms on a bed of wild rice would be beautiful.
Feel free to comment and let us know what you think of this style video. We're glad you stopped by to hang out with us and see what we were up to. Please come back next week.